All right, what is going on, everyone? And welcome back to more Black Desert. My name is John, and today we're going to be going over the Global Labs patch notes. And if you're new to the game and have no idea what this is, basically Global Labs notes is the test server of the game, and when they announce notes here, it usually comes to the live servers in NAEU within 2 weeks. And usually I only talk about this when there are things that are notable and or controversy on a lot of things. So yeah, keep in mind this is Google translated and from Korean, so I'll do my best to try to explain things if it doesn't make sense on the notes as well. And you guys can read all about all of this as well from the Global Lab site. So these are probably coming to the live servers within 2 weeks from now. And I skimmed the notes earlier today, and boy, do we have things to talk about. So yeah, first of all, Warriors, they're getting some, like, nothing's really changing. There's more just like a additional thing added to certain skills for various things. That's not the problem. Warriors, few changes, always good. Here is where the controversy that I've read about everywhere starts. So in my many years of playing MMOs throughout my life, here's how I would take things. I think that nerfs should only be used in rare cases where it's actually needed. But when it comes to like class changes, I've always had the stance of if a class is underperforming, it should be raised to the point where it can compete with the S tier classes or like the high end ones. So that's how I've always seen it. Nerfs are rare, and it just makes people feel bad. No one wants their class nerfed, obviously. So I think classes that are underperforming should just get raised to compete with the other ones. In this case, Giants are considered Berserkers, and what they're doing is basically buffing their PvE. This makes people really mad. If you're a Berserker player, obviously this is good for you. It is what it is. But I think that people have, or the people at Pearl Abyss, I don't know what they're doing. I'm just like wondering what made Berserkers get buffs, but not the classes that actually need it get it. So as a person who's been playing this game for quite a while and someone who, you know, actually does a lot of things. I do a lot of PvE. I do a lot of PvP 1v1s with other people. So I think I have a general idea of what classes are like in a good spot, which classes need buffs, and which classes definitely don't need buffs. And Berserkers are here because, I don't know, they definitely do not need it. Berserkers are already S tier in my eyes. They're doing fine just the way they are. And so Succession allows you to continue combos that you couldn't do, blah, blah, blah. So they're basically buffing PvE. So right now, my understanding, if you look at like leaderboards for Arena of Solaire or the Boss Splits leaderboards, currently Berserkers are, you know, pretty good, and Succession is the one that they play more than Awakening. So if anything, Awakening needs some tuning more than Succession does, but like they're giving it to Succession as well. So basically what we're going to look at is the numbers. Keep in mind, this is like, they might change it and might just push with these numbers exactly. And admittedly, I don't main a Berserker, but I have played it throughout seasons and everything, and just I've tagged it before. So my understanding of it is not at like an expert level, but at an above average level. So Prime Raging Thunder, basically the Succession one, 25% critical hit added to Prime. Bruh, I just, like, the sun isn't even that bad. It's more just like the thought. I think it's not really that people are mad that Berserkers are getting buffed. It's just they're mad that other classes that actually need it aren't getting changed, which makes me wonder, like, what's happening at Pearl Abyss headquarters. What made you pick Berserkers of all things? And yeah, just a lot more damage changes, PvE, everything. So Pro Abyss, if you guys need help with finding classes that actually need some tuning up and or down, I got you. Or a lot of the video partners, they got you as well. What's next? Is Wusa PvE gonna get even more buffed? Who knows? But yeah, I just wanted to mostly talk about this because, like, ever since we got all those new players, remember, like, last month when all the big content creators were talking about BDO, Land of the Morning Light came out, and a lot of people were returning. It's like they had so many good ideas, like 5 steps forward, and then they do changes like this, and it's just like 7 steps backwards. And overall, admittedly, there are a lot of good things that came out of the changes as well from Pro Abyss, and I think overall that, and there's a lot of stuff, quality of life things that have been improved that I'm very happy with, but it's just like they need what is happening with their balance team? And basically, a lot of these are Berserker changes, more damage, PvE in general, which ultimately I'm not upset about it. It's just the thought of we have too many classes in this game. There's a skill called Butt. I'm pretty sure that just means headbutt. For anyone who's played a Berserker, we all know that Ancient Wave is the most, like, deadly thing you can get hit by in PvP. Like, remember back in the day, getting hit by an Ancient Wave just means it's like 100 to 0 in health? Yeah, I'm glad that's PvE only changed, because that's not good. So, if you look at these numbers, you're probably wondering, why is PvP damage reduced when it's a PvE change? It mostly is just like balancing PvE, so in theory that the numbers should like still reflect the same thing in PvP. So if you're taking the same amount of damage, it is what it is. But yeah, that's kind of how the damage reduction in PvP works as well. So they raised the PvE numbers, which means overall damage, but they toned down the PvP. So that goes for all classes. It's not new, but you're just probably wondering why it's there. Cooldown change from Devastation to, what is River? Is it that Rabam ability? From 15 to 12 seconds. I think that's good. But after 50 to 100% crit rate, I think what a lot of classes have been doing to get close to 100% is using the Death Blow set for PvE, which is the Artifact and Lightstone combo, and then using either accuracy or monster damage. That's what I do. Yep, damage numbers look fine. Lahn is getting buffed as well. I think Lahn is one of those classes that I do think they need a little bit of a buff, but I think they're also in a fine spot for a lot of PvE in general. But I think this is PvP changes as far as I see. So Lahn Awakening is highly dependent on catching grab. I don't know what that is because I play a Dark Knight. So in PvC, I've heard this being talked about a lot, where Lahn say, like, if you don't grab, you don't win. But I kind of have mixed feelings on this one, because I've always seen, and when I've dueled Lahns as well, if they don't hit or land a grab, they just fly away, and it's like, it's very hard to catch them. So I think that's the trade-off. So I don't know, like, it's very easy to CC people on Lahn just because you just fly around, and you don't really, it's very hard to track, like, very high mobility classes. So in this game, basically, I value mobility for classes higher than just straight up damage, and Lahn has a lot of that. So there always has to be some sort of trade-off when it comes to classes. Like, for example, we'll use Dark Knights for an example because I know how to do that. So Dark Knights are pretty high damage, but they are glass cannons. And basically, we don't have grabs either, so I don't know why some other classes are mad. It is what it is. But anyway, so what are they going to do with it? some of these skills I have to actually think about because it's translated differently. And more damage. They added crit chance to... what is this skill? Is that a... I don't think I've seen that skill. Like, I'm gonna have to look at it later. But they added more crit damage. The damage per hit is increased. And PvP is a little bit higher. Oh, is this piercing heart? Okay, cool. I know what those skills are. So a lot of these, from what I've noticed, are getting more crit chance on the abilities that weren't there before. I think that's fine. Not a big deal. And the Black Spirit abilities, which is basically your hundreds. Look at that animation. That's a lot of hits. More damage increased, PvP reductions, the flow, more damage, cool. But yeah, that's a lot of the class changes and balances. I think the most controversial one that we're looking at is probably the Berserker ones, because I don't think they really needed it, but it is what it is. I do think warriors do need a little buff. I think warriors are overall fine, and so are Lahns, but I guess they thought those classes were something that needed changes. Content. What is happening? Old Moon Furniture in Velia. So basically, remember about a year ago when they changed the thing where you can make house furnishings now instead of buying it on the Pearl Shop? They just added more of that in the game. So cool. You can decorate your house without spending real money. That's fine with me. What else? Item and inventory changes. When using a bundle item, it has been improved to indicate the number of free spaces. So I guess it just tells you when you're opening a bundle that has like 12 items in it, like the house furnishings or those potion boxes that give you like 3 to 5 items, and it just tells you now. That's cool. I don't really think anyone ever had the issue with that, but if all you have to do is read the tooltip and it's like, here, we're giving you these items in there. Have these number of items open in your inventory. But I mean, I'm not upset with that. That's a quality of life change. That's cool. But one thing, is funny is if you ever read the forums or Reddit, there's a meme going on, which is, I kind of believe it is a meme, but at the same time, it's true. People don't actually read the tooltips or descriptions. So like when new players are going into seasons spamming the R button and skip the entire main story quest and just like, why did this happen? And everyone's just like, did you read it? And they're like, no. So I think this is the reason why they're doing that, which whatever, just read the tooltip and then you'll be fine. You open bundle boxes that do not stack in one slot, you cannot check them in the Black Desert Lab and will be updated on the official server. Okay. When combining items and the use of items stacked is improved that only one of the items consumed is instead of all of them. In the case of items stacked in one slot, it's been improved so that only one of the items consumed instead of all of them. I think I understand what they're saying. So, like, when you're combining those boss scrolls that you get every day, you can do one instead of all of them, I think. New ocean content. Melody of the Ocean, basically one of the sirens. I remember seeing this yesterday. I thought this was pretty cool. So as you guys know, ocean content, bartering, it's getting a little bit easier because they removed, I think it was they didn't remove wind currents, but they removed the like waves and stuff. And I've made videos talking about like routes you can do in Margoria and everything. So now that it's a lot easier, they're adding more sea monsters and all those stuff. So ocean content, they're getting new stuff, which is always good because right now going into the ocean is kind of irrelevant, but unless you're going for your Carrack, and even then you don't really have to do much bartering, or you don't even have to be in Margoria at all. So New enemy coming in. It's like a mermaid, dolphin. Cool. New monsters, new pirate ships that you can fight. I actually thought this was a cool idea. So basically, the ghost ship that happens, we've seen it already. You can see it in the Sea of Silence as well as in Margoria, the Goldmont pirate ships. So basically, this one, pirate ships will come on the left and right side of you or just surround your ship. If you have a Carrack, you can just shoot from left and right cannons with left right click, which I think will be fine. But I think for people who are working on your Carrack now and you have like a frigate or you're just like starting out, you just have to be careful about that because you have to get off your boat. Well, not get off your boat, but like you have to get off the steering wheel and then actually shoot the cannons. But once you get the upgraded frigate and advanced boat, you're fine. So ultimately, this isn't a big deal. But just if you're a beginner in the ocean, just watch out for that. But everything else, I think this is a cool idea. Adding more enemies into the ocean, that's cool. Garmoth changes when... So they changed Garmoth. As you guys know, there are no more cagdums, basically the ad phase of it. And so what would happen right now is Garmoth would just be in the air for a good solid 30 seconds. And honestly, going to Garmoth now is basically like if you have 5 minutes, 4 of those minutes are waiting for the boss to land. And you just can't do anything during that time. So what they're going to do in the future is make it so the boss is on the ground more and you can actually start doing damage. So I think that's a good thing. And overall, Garmoth has been changed quite a lot over the past month. And I really don't know what is taking them so long. Like, all you have to do is go to Garmoth one time and you figure out the problems. And it took them about like 3 years to figure this out. But, you know, at least it's going to change in at least the next month. So that's cool, I guess. What do you guys think of the changes right now? So right now, you talk to that NPC, right? And you can do Garmoth about 3 times a week to get the thing, get the bundle, open it, and get your 2 Cron stones. But I've always had the thought that I don't think the developers actually play their game. I don't know. It's just something that all you have to do is go to the boss like one time and then you figure out what the problem is. But it took them so long to figure this out. I don't understand. But anyway, moving on. Tungrad Ruins just stopped in place when they lost their target. That has to be a translation because I'm not really sure what that spot actually is. Is this a new one? If they mean Tungrad, do they mean... The closest thing I can think of when they say Tungrad Ruins is Thornwood, but I don't think that is. The generation time of Eye of Despair and Thornwood Forest hunting grounds has been changed to 1 minute. Admittedly, I don't have too much time in Thornwood because when I was at the gear level, that place wasn't relevant and like the spot wasn't that good. Now that Thornwood has gotten buffed over the times, and especially with Dekia, I just don't really know too much about it. So, is this good? Regeneration time of Eye of Despairs in Thornwoods has been changed to 1 minute. I have no idea, so let me know. It's been changed so that when you defeat the named monsters, Kvariak, that appears in Tashira, you can acquire the deadly poison. Basically, I think this is the infinite potion piece item. Let me actually check that real quick. Let me see. I think this is what they mean. So like the pity piece for the infinite potion. I'm gonna be honest, fighting the boss when you had to do it, you really had to kind of go out of your way. It depends on what rotation you did for infinite potions, but the one in the back where you fight all the big ones, if your goal is to get the straight potion piece or like the straight drop instead of the pities, you kind of had to walk out of your way for the boss. I remember doing that because I grinded there a lot. So Muiquun knowledge. So as you guys know, Muiquun is in the desert. It's all the way far south past like Crescent Shrine. And the only time you would have been able to get like knowledge and everything over there is if you were a red player. So basically negative karma. And this is a very outdated system that really needed to change, because as you guys know, going red in this game in 2023 is very scary. It's not really worth doing, in my opinion. And even as a new player, my stance on going negative karma was always, the penalty shouldn't be as harsh as it is now. It's like back in the day, 5 years ago, when all your crystals was a total of like 5 million silver, it was okay to be red. And especially when the goal is to change it to family-wide karma, which I have no idea if that's a good thing or not. I don't think so. Like, I'm kind of nervous about that. I don't go red, but like the fact that there's no option for people to do it anymore, just on like one character, I don't think that's a good thing. But apparently they want to make it family-wide in the future. But Muiquun is basically a town in the desert. If you've been there, you've been there. If you don't, there's really nothing to do there. It's basically like a bandit town, I guess you can say, for people to feel special when they're red and have a safe space, I think. But what they're going to do is add like a quest line, and you can just get the knowledge there. That's about it. Nothing really is changing. Just pay energy or do a quest line, and then you can get the knowledge that if you've never been red, you can get it. Cool stuff. Backgrounds, NPCs, effects, and cutscenes. Okay, let's see. The goddess, blah blah blah, filter, random text, unusual movements under the name of Odalita Castle. Hey, if you want to know some more unusual movements, go to the Sea Palace right now. You know, the event area, the new place. Look at all the NPCs by the scroll thingy that are walking up and down the stairs. You'll find NPCs that are like moonwalking, and I guarantee you, if I went there right now, we can look at it. And you know, I might actually do that. So it is now possible to move, buy and sell windows of the UI changes, buy and sell windows, edit UI, purchasing displayed quantity. Okay, cool. UI. In-game stables have been unified. That's a very good thing, actually. Unified stables is very nice. I don't... In content of some knowledge, Ulu Kita has been improved. I think that's the new 320 grind spot that we don't have in NA and EU yet. So, yeah, that's about it. That's a lot of the changes for global labs, and I just wanted to give my thoughts and opinions. Hey, you know what, Prolibus, if you watch this video, let me just show you something right now. I saw a note that you said you were trying to make NPCs a little bit more natural. Watch this. Once again, it's one of those things where all you have to do is play the game, and you can find it super easily. And I actually like the Sea Palace. There's not really much to do aside from the Vel, but here, let me just show you something. You see these NPCs? Let me just show you the ones that are out of the ordinary. Hope they're there. Are they on the stairs this time? Some of them are going to look like they're moonwalking. Just around this area, you'll find it. I think I even have a video of it from otherwhere. Yeah. When these NPCs that go down the stairs, they look like they're moonwalking. So, I'm pretty sure you guys can find it as well. Something is very unnatural about it, but just wanted to point out where it was. An NPC like walking into the wall. I'm pretty sure it's exactly this spot, like this little rock right here. It makes NPCs walk and move funny. So just my observation. That's 2 NPCs, by the way. See, all you have to do is like here. Let's observe this for a little bit. All we have to do is wait. Another. See, look, it's this rock. I'm convinced it's like 100% this exact area. They get hard stuck on them, and then things just look funny. Dude, they're like moonwalking. I don't... It's very odd. Anyway, you guys can watch that for yourself as well. Alright, get me out of here. Weird. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys enjoyed it, pass this video along. Maybe Pearl Abyss will actually watch it and realize a lot of things that they could fix. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, drop a quick like on the video. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. That's all I wanted to talk about. Peace.